Autumn Leaves is the first jazz tune I ever learned, now over 20 years ago. And even though I've played this tune thousands of times, each time I play it, it's a little bit different. I've changed up the melody or added some fills, some embellishments, some runs, reharmonized, changed up the rhythm. There's really unlimited ways that we can play these songs and really any song. And that's what I love so much about jazz is that we take the approach of songs not being written in stone, but rather songs are just a core or a framework that we fill in with whatever we're feeling at that current moment. So one of my favorite ways to do this is through reharmonization, which basically means keeping the melody pretty much the same and underneath that melody, changing up the chords in order to create a different emotion or a different feeling with that same song. So we're going to do that now with Autumn Leaves. Let's get into it. The melody starts off like this. Simple and beautiful. And traditionally, the first chord is going to be right here, this A minor. Right, so let's do some reharms here. What if we put some triads underneath that melody? So like C major, D major, G major, and then we end up on that A minor. That works well. That could work by itself, but it's a little bright. Um, let's see. So if we're trying to end up on that A minor, let's try a bass walk down. So we're going to have some bass notes. Some way or another walk us down to that A minor, right? So as the right hand is going up, left hand's going down. So if we're playing a C major, first thing we might guess is, well, let's put a C under it. A little too bright still. That's not really the sound I'm looking for. We could try to darken it a bit by suspending it, and all we have to do to do that is take the root up a whole step. Yep, that's more the sound we want here. Okay, so let's start here, and then we're going to walk that left hand down. So let's see, how about C? Oh yeah, that's nice. It's kind of like a C Lydian, and I would say it's Lydian because of the sharp 11. It's major type sound, but with that sharp 11, that's Lydian. Okay, we're in the right direction here. Let's try B. Just doubling this note. That works well. Yeah, that's really nice. We could try something a little bit crazier here. How about well, we put the A flat here. Yeah, that fills it out nicely. So this is turning more into a B flat dominant. This would be just the straight B flat dominant. Right, here's our root position. We've taken out the fifth, which we often do. Put the D up here, spread it out. And then a couple extensions, put the flat 9 and the 13 is our melody up here. This is a very common voicing, kind of from our diminished world. That worked really well. Let's put that in context. Oof. Okay, yeah, that works. Let's try one more thing. Let's take it even further. Let's add a little bit of inner movement on this dominant. So if we're here, let's take a couple of the middle notes and move them up a step. Oh, yeah. Okay, so actually we ended up with another suspended here. Same formula, right? We've got a major chord on the top, but instead of putting the root on the bottom, instead of putting the A flats, we move that up a whole step. Right? So that's our B flat suspended. I'll take these two notes, Drop them down, B flat dominant. Ooh! Yep, and that resolves us through a tritone substitution to that A minor. All tritone substitution means is that we're using a dominant chord a half step above our target, right? B flat dominant, here's a simplified version, resolving down a half step. That's it. We're just putting some nice extensions and voicings in there. Yeah, okay, so all together. Beautiful. For this A minor, we're taking a basic A minor 7, remove the 5th, very common to do this, and then we're taking that middle note up an octave, actually 2 octaves, right? That's our melody note. But that's a big gap in here, so we're filling it in with the 5th, the 9th, double that 3rd, and let's put the 11 in there too, why not? Right, so we get this nice cluster in the middle. Great. Okay, our next chord is going to be D7. This is the classic chord in this piece, but let's put a little spin on it by playing something like this. Yep, so actually a lot of double notes here, 2 Ds, 2 Cs, and then the F sharp again. That 3rd has been bumped up an octave. But we've got the flat 9 here. And because it's right next to that root, again, we have this kind of cluster, and it gives it that tension. Right? And that will resolve us to the G major. Again, this is the standard chord here. We can Lydian-ify this chord by putting the sharp 11. We've got an open voicing in the left hand. 13 is here, melody's on the top. We're doubling the 7, and the sharp 11 is right here in the middle. Let's do another Lydian for our C major. This is a great voicing here, and I use this one a lot for major chords. Again, you can see a basic C major 7 without the 5th in the left hand, and then we have a D major triad in the right hand. So the formula here is we've taken the root up a whole step, and we're playing a major triad over that basic major 7th chord. And then we can just double the E here if we want, or the B. Any notes can be doubled here. Cool. If you want to check out some more formulas like this, I've put pretty much every voicing I know into one course called Jazz Chord Formulas. And it breaks down these chords into, like you might guess, formulas just like this. Playing a major chord in one hand, going up a whole step and playing another major chord will give you this Lydian sound. So check out that course if you're interested. I'll put a link in the description below. Okay, so far we've got this walk down. And that's going to bring us into a 2-5 in G major. So 2, 5, and 1. Let's make that Lydian. And up to the 4, C major, Lydian. Next, we've got a minor 2-5, 1 in E minor. So that would sound like 2, 5, 1. So to voice that out, here's our basic chord in the left hand. Let's bump up these 2 middle notes up an octave. Usually we can take out the 5th, but because this half diminished chord has a flat 5, and that's a really important part of its sound. We're going to keep that in there. So that's already pretty nice half diminished. We can double the A down here, get that octave voicing. If you want a classic sound, that's a good way to do it. If you want something a little more spicy, we can add some extensions. So we can add the 9, which is a whole step above the root for pretty much any chord. That's the case. Nice. Okay, that's already getting more mysterious, right? Let's add the 11 too. The 11 is always a whole step above the 3rd. Yeah, I like that. So basic, extended. Yeah, okay. So that's our half diminished. And then we're going to go to our 5 chord, which would look in a basic form like this. Again, we'll take out the 5th. Let's bring that 3rd up an octave. The melody's still hanging out on this A, so that hasn't moved. A little bit empty, so let's add in a flat 9. Flat 9s are great to use on your dominant chords, especially when you're playing a minor 2-5-1 like this. Right, the flat 9 is always a half step above the root. That's already a nice sound. Let's take it even further though. We can pull some more notes from the altered scale, which looks like this. And all this is the melodic minor scale, 1 half step or 1 semitone above the root. Here's C melodic minor. If you're not sure how to find the melodic minor scale, it's just the major scale. Here's C major with the 3rd down a half step. Right, so basically we're playing C melodic minor over B, and that's going to give us a B dominant, B altered sound. Right, and we already have some of the notes here, but we can add G, the F, the B, the D. We can get all these. All these really cool sounds like that. And then we're going to resolve to our 1. Get a nice minor 11. This is one of my favorite chords. So we got a open voicing in the left hands. Again, we just take that 3rd up an octave. And you can roll that if the 10th is a little hard to reach. Use the pedal to connect them. And the formula we're using here for this minor 11 is you're going to go down 1 whole step from the root and play a major triad. So D major over E. E minor is going to give us that E minor 11 sound. I hope you enjoyed this jazz reharm breakdown. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel to get more awesome content just like this. Now, if you want to really understand how music actually works so that you can create beautiful harmonies just like we did here, check out the links in the description below to take your piano skills to the next level. Now, go make some music.